What's up, everybody? Bob Wankel, CrossingBroad.com. We have the Chicago Bears and the Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field, 1 o'clock kickoff Sunday afternoon. Eagles coming off a potentially season-saving win at Buffalo on the road as an underdog a week ago. And the more things change, the more they stay the same for the Chicago Bears. When we last saw these two teams get together at Soldier Field in January, it was the double doink. Well, Chicago lost a heartbreaker last week on a missed field goal at home against the Chargers. They've now lost 3 straight games. Who's going to win this one? Who's going to cover the spread? We will get into that in just a minute. Before we do, head over to CrossingBroad.com. If you are in the state of Pennsylvania, you can use FoxBet to bet on this game. It's CrossingBroad.com/FB. That'll take you to FoxBet. You download the app. They'll give you $20 just for signing up, and they will match your first deposit up to $100.
You can make it rain.
All right, so the Eagles come into this game, as we see on the board, a 5-point favorite over the Bears on Sunday afternoon as we record this video at midweek. They're minus 225 on the money line, total set at a short 43 points. Now, I gotta say, it's Mitch Trubisky. You watch the Bears play the last few weeks, there is no way that you could possibly feel good about betting on the Chicago Bears, even with the 5 points, even with that defense. But I gotta say, when you look a little bit more closely at the trends, there's a lot of stuff that supports a play on Chicago in this game. The Bears are 9-4-1 ATS when Mitch Trubisky starts as an underdog, and he's 5-3, where the Bears are 5-3 when he starts as a road underdog. And Carson Wentz, guys, breaking my heart. Carson Wentz is 2-7 against the spread over his last 9 starts at Lincoln Financial Field. Maybe this is the week that he finally breaks through, but he has not been a good cover quarterback, really going all the way back to the first part of last season. Trends get a little bit worse if you're an Eagles supporter as well. Home teams coming off of 3 straight road games. The Eagles are back. They're going to get it together. They're going to come home, and they're going to let it rip in front of the home crowd. Historically speaking, when teams are away for 3 straight weeks, they don't do too well during that homecoming game. 22-30 and 5 ATS, and home favorites coming off of 3 straight road games. Just a little under 500, 15, 17, and 2 against the spread. Not terrible, but certainly not the momentum boost that you would think it would provide in terms of covering the spread. Home favorites of 4.5 to 6.5 points that are coming off of a win of 14-plus points, that are playing a team coming off of a loss, as the Bears are in this one, only 19 and 27 against the spread. And again, I think that what that tells us is that teams, when they're coming off of blowout victories, the public gets a little bit crazy. They tend to overvalue such teams. And what you're seeing here, Eagles won by 18 points a week ago. Everybody thinks that a lot of what ails them will be cured. Maybe Deshaun Jackson's coming back in this game. Midweek, it looks like he has a shot to play. But 5 points is an awful lot, and so don't let that recency bias set in. That's sort of what that trend tells us. Now, underdogs that have lost 3 straight games while failing to cover in each are a good play over a large sample. 71, 54, and 3 against the spread. They're slightly better at home, 33, 21, and 3 ATS, as opposed to on the road, where they're 37 and 31 ATS. But again, it's almost like there's something has to give theory here. 3 straight losses, 3 straight failures to cover. You start to see that line inflate a little bit, and they tend to cover at a fairly high mark. Finally, when it comes to betting on the Bears, road underdogs on that 3-game losing streak are 90, 71, and 1 ATS overall, and 71, 57, and 1 ATS in conference games. Road underdogs between exactly 4 and 5 points are 10 and 3 ATS when on a 3-game losing streak. So again, all of that supports a play on the Chicago Bears. But good news, Eagles fans, the Bears stink. Mitch Trubisky stinks, and there's plenty of reasons to bet on the Eagles, which we'll get to in just a second. All right, we gave you plenty of reasons why betting on the Eagles this week may be a bad idea, but on the flip side, there's plenty of good reasons to do it as well. So let's take a look at them. home favorites of 4 to 5 points that are coming off a road win of 14 plus points are 27-12 ATS, which is lights out, and 16-4 ATS in non-division games. So when you get rid of that equation with the opponent losing 3 straight games, and you take them out of it, and you just have a team in this point spread range that is coming off of a big road blowout win, that momentum does carry over. So I know there's a little bit of a conflict in those two trends here, but I would actually rely more on this one. That being said, the Eagles are 5-1 ATS at home when playing a team that's scoring 19 points per game or less. Chicago comes into this one averaging just a shade over 18 points. And they are also 7-3 ATS at home against teams averaging less than 20 points per game. So when you move that number up just one, 7-3 ATS, lower scoring teams coming into Lincoln Financial Field. Eagles do a pretty good job at covering the spread. Finally, and I think this one's very interesting, 2 teams that play one another that were in the playoffs the previous season, as the Bears and Eagles obviously were. When those 2 teams play each other the first time, the team that won the game by 2 points or less and then was favored in the following game or in the following season, 11-2 ATS. So you had the Bears and Eagles both in the playoffs. Eagles won by a single point, 16-15. You come back the following game, you're favored again, 11-2 ATS are teams in that situation. So we talk about revenge. We're sure that Chicago will be up for this game, but when you look at this trend and you step back, it's actually the team that won the first time that tends to get it done the second time as well. Finally, in terms of the total, 43 is a short number. A couple things that you may want to know. I don't love the total in this game. I actually think it can get over. But a couple trends here that you should be aware of. The under is 25-17 when the home team's coming off a game in which they scored 30 to 35 points, and the road team scored 17 points or less. And it's 18-11 when the 2 opponents are in the same conference. So that's one thing worth considering. And then over here, just pull that around. The under, pull it down actually, the under is 18-9 in Doug Peterson coach games at Lincoln Financial Field, and 14-3 the under is when Doug Peterson coaches at the Link in non-division games. So a couple notes on the total there. In terms of this game, I don't know if I trust the Eagles to lay that 5, but I know I don't trust Mitch Trubisky to come in and play what should be a highly motivated team that seems to have kind of gained some traction. I think that the Eagles will win this game. I think they're going to cover the spread heading into the bye week. I would like it more if it were at 3.5 or 4, but I'll lay the 5 and take the Eagles. Now, if you are in the state of Pennsylvania, like we said, go over to crossingbroad.com/FB, download Fox Bet, $20 just for signing up, and they will match your first bet up to $100.